All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is V. Ravi Kumar. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates 7 new defence companies to the nation to make India world's largest military power. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 97 crore 18 lakh mark. Recovery rate improves to 98.07%. India allows foreign tourists on chartered flights to enter the country. US to ease travel curbs for fully vaccinated foreigners from November the 8th. 2 terrorists killed in separate encounters with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. UN Security Council strongly condemns terrorist attack on Shia mosque in Kandahar province of Afghanistan. Islamic State claims responsibility. Week-long Kullu Dashehra begins in Himachal Pradesh with Rath Yatra of Lord Raghunath. 7-time champions India to take on Nepal in final of SAF Football Championship in Malé today. And in cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 27 runs to win its 4th IPL title. As India is on the verge of vaccinating 100 crore people against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the people, doctors, nurses and others who are making this possible. At the same time, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners who are yet to be fully vaccinated to get vaccinated at the earliest and also help others to get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has dedicated 7 new defence companies to the nation. The companies are Munitions India Limited, Armoured Vehicles Nigam Limited, Advanced Weapons and Equipment India Limited, Troop Comforts Limited, Yantra India Limited, India Optel Limited and Gliders India Limited. Addressing the gathering through video conference, Mr. Modi said 41 ordnance factories are being converted into 7 corporate entities as a measure to improve India's self-reliance and defence preparedness.
आजादी के इस अमृत काल में देश एक नए भविष्य के निर्माण के लिए नए संकल्प ले रहा है और जो काम दशकों से अटके थे उन्हें पूरा भी कर रहा है। 41 ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्रीज को नए स्वरूप में किए जाने का निर्णय, 7 नई कंपनियों की ये शुरुआत देश की इसी संकल्प यात्रा का हिस्सा है। मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि ये सभी 7 कंपनियां आने वाले समय में भारत की सैन्य ताकत का एक बहुत बड़ा आधार बनेगी.
The Prime Minister said the government and public sector have joined hands for Rashtra Suraksha that will boost India's economy and encourage it to reach new heights. Mr. Modi said India's defence sector was lacking innovation after achieving independence. He said these 7 new companies will push the government's efforts towards progress and self-reliance in the defence sector. The Prime Minister said for the first time after independence, so many major reforms are happening in the defence sector. He said under the Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign, the country aims to make India the world's largest military power on its own and the development of modern military industry in India.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान के तहत देश का लक्ष्य भारत को अपने दम पर दुनिया की बड़ी सैन्य ताकत बनाने का है। भारत में आधुनिक सैन्य इंडस्ट्री के विकास का है। पिछले 7 वर्षों में देश ने मेक इन इंडिया के मंत्र के साथ अपने इस संकल्प को आगे बढ़ाने का काम किया है। आज देश के डिफेंस सेक्टर में जितनी ट्रांसपेरेंसी है, ट्रस्ट है और टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन अप्रोच है, उतनी पहले कभी नहीं थी.
Mr. Modi mentioned that it is our target that Indian companies not only establish expertise in their products but also become a global brand. He urged that while competitive cost is our strength, quality and reliability should be the identity. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the country is now connecting its traditional skills with modern possibilities. After performing the Bhumi Pujan ceremony of Hostel Phase 1 built by Saurashtra Patel Seva Samaj in Surat via video conferencing yesterday, the Prime Minister remembered Sardar Patel and quoted the great leader to emphasize that caste and creed should not be allowed to hinder the task of national development. The Prime Minister said, India is currently in its 75th year of independence. Along with new resolutions, this Amrit Kal inspires us to remember those personalities who played a big role in awakening public consciousness. It is very important for today's generation to know about them, he added. Mr. Modi said, in the new national education policy, the option of teaching professional courses in the local language has also been given.
नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में प्रोफेशनल कोर्सेज की पढ़ाई स्थानीय भाषा में, मातृभाषा में कराए जाने का विकल्प भी दिया गया है। अब पढ़ाई का मतलब डिग्री तक ही सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि पढ़ाई को स्किल के साथ जोड़ा जा रहा है। देश अपनी पारंपरिक स्किल को भी अब आधुनिक संभावनाओं से जोड़ रहा है। स्किल और इकोसिस्टम से मिलकर आज नए भारत की नींव रख रहे हैं। स्टार्टअप इंडिया की सफलता हमारे सामने है।
Referring to the robust recovery in the wake of the pandemic, the Prime Minister said, the whole world is full of hope about India and with the speed with which the economy has made a comeback after the difficult times of Corona.
Union Home Minister and Minister of Cooperation Amit Shah visited the National Memorial Cellular Jail and laid a wreath at the Martyrs Column in Port Blair yesterday. He also visited the cell of Veer Savarkar and paid homage. The Home Minister attended the cultural program as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Cellular Jail. Addressing the event, the Home Minister said that it was a matter of pride for him to come to that holy place. Remembering freedom fighters Veer Savarkar and Sachin Channal, he exclaimed that their sacrifice inspired many youths to serve the country. Mr. Shah said, freedom fighters suffered greatly at the cellular jail, but their spirits remained undaunted. It is the land of supreme sacrifices. The government gave the status of the most sacred place or Tirthasthal of the Indian subcontinent to cellular jail. The Home Minister unveiled the plaque at the front gate of the cellular jail complex. Highlighting the achievements of Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the implementation of government schemes, he stressed that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, work culture has changed. He said, now speedy implementation of government projects is being done across the country.
पहले एक सरकार योजना बनाती थी, 5 साल के बाद दूसरी सरकार नींव रखती थी, तीसरी सरकार बनाने का काम करती थी और चौथी सरकार उसका उद्घाटन करती थी। मोदी जी ने एक नई कार्य संस्कृति बनाई है। नींव भी उनकी ही सरकार करती है और उद्घाटन भी उनकी ही सरकार करती है। मैं मानता हूं कि विकास की दृष्टि से और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को किस तरह से चलाया जा सकता है, इसके उत्कृष्ट उदाहरण हैं और यहाँ पर ये अंडमान निकोबार में भी दिखाई पड़ता है।
More than 97 crore 18 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. India's active caseload stands at 2,03,678 and it is the lowest in 216 days. Active cases account for less than 1% of total cases and it is currently at 0.6%, the lowest since March last year. The ministry said the recovery rate is currently at 98.07%, highest since March last year. The weekly positivity rate currently stands at 1.42%, which is less than 3% for the last 112 days. Daily positivity rate is at 1.43%, which is less than 3% for last 46 days.
In the national capital, 26 new cases of coronavirus infection were reported yesterday. The Delhi government said 36 people recovered from the infection during the last 24 hours and no death was reported in the city. Presently, the total number of active cases of COVID-19 in the national capital is 327. More than 73,000 beneficiaries were inoculated with doses of COVID-19 vaccine in the last 24 hours in Delhi. With this, over 1 crore 94 lakh beneficiaries have been vaccinated so far. Talking to AIR, Dr. Sanjay Pandey of GB Pant Hospital in Delhi has advised people to celebrate festivals with due precaution, keeping in mind the COVID pandemic.
सेलिब्रेशन में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन सेलिब्रेशन प्राइवेट होना चाहिए, फैमिली मेंबर्स के साथ होना चाहिए, भीड़ नहीं लगानी चाहिए। हमने सावधानी अगर बरत ली अगले 4-6 महीने, तो मुझे लगता है कि हम कोरोना के खिलाफ जो लड़ाई है उसकी बिल्कुल अंतिम चरण में है। ये मान के चलना चाहिए कि अगर हम 4 से 6 महीने और संयम बरत लें तो आगे आने वाला समय काफी अच्छा होगा।
The government has allowed foreign tourists on chartered flights to enter the country. The Union Home Ministry has begun granting fresh tourist visas to foreigners coming to India through chartered flights with effect from the 15th of this month. The ministry in a statement said all COVID-19 protocols and norms notified by the Health Ministry are to be adhered to by foreign tourists and carriers bringing them into India and other stakeholders at landing stations.
The US will lift travel restrictions from the 8th of November for foreign nationals who have been fully vaccinated, White House announced last night. Starting the 8th of November, United States will admit fully vaccinated foreign air travelers from the 26 so-called Schengen countries in Europe, as well as India, Britain, Ireland, South Africa and Brazil. US health authorities have said that all vaccines approved by the Food and Drug Administration and the World Health Organization would be accepted for entry by air. Minister of State for Commerce and Industry Anupriya Patel has stressed on the need for effective cooperation between Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO member states for a balanced and equitable growth in trade and commerce. The minister said this at the 20th meeting of SCO ministers responsible for foreign economy and foreign trade, which was hosted by Kazakhstan. In her intervention at the meeting, Mrs. Patel also proposed the creation of a new special working group on startups and innovation and setting up of a new expert working group on cooperation in traditional medicine. She also stated that cooperation in the field of startups and innovation could be a focal point in reviving our economies from the consequences of the pandemic. With this in mind, she invited all SCO member states to take part in the second startup forum to be hosted by India on the 27th and 28th of this month. The Minister of State also highlighted that there is a significant gap in digital technologies between developed and developing countries, which needs to be narrowed down by building digital capacities. Mrs. Patel emphasized that SCO members must prepare, act and stand in solidarity with each other and pursue an agenda that is equitable and inclusive and development-oriented. The virtual meeting was attended by the Secretary General of SCO and heads of delegations of China, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan.
The Union Ministry of Women and Child Development has said that the Global Hunger Report 2021, which has lowered India's rank on the basis of Food and Agriculture Organization estimate on proportion of undernourished population, is found to be devoid of ground reality and facts. It said the report suffers from serious methodological issue. The ministry said the publishing agencies of the Global Hunger Report, Concern Worldwide and Welthungerhilfe have not done their due diligence before releasing the report. In a statement, the ministry said the methodology used by Food and Agriculture Organization is unscientific and they based their assessment on the results of a 4-question opinion poll which was conducted telephonically by Gallup.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates 7 new defence companies to the nation to make India world's largest military power. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 97 crore 18 lakh mark. Recovery rate improves to 98.07%. India allows foreign tourists on chartered flights to enter the country. US to ease travel curbs for fully vaccinated foreigners from November 8th. 2 terrorists killed in separate encounters with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. UN Security Council strongly condemns terrorist attack on Shia mosque in Kandahar province of Afghanistan. Islamic State claims responsibility. Week-long Kullu Dashera begins in Himachal Pradesh with Rath Yatra of Lord Raghunath. 7-time champions India to take on Nepal in final of SAF Football Championship in Malé today. And in cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 27 runs to win its 4th IPL title. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember the forceful divide and rule decision of the British Crown to disturb the nationalist Hindu-Muslim unity against their imperialistic forces and divide Bengal on communal lines into eastern and western areas. People rose together against this decision as Rabindranath Tagore's Amar Shonar Bangla took on a new meaning.
আমার সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি চিরদিন তোমার আকাশ তোমার বাতাস আমার প্রাণে বাজায় বাঁশি.
Since 1765, Bengal, Bihar and Odisha were a single province in British India. But Viceroy of India, Lord Curzon, the architect of the partition, planned to split Odisha and Bihar and join 15 eastern districts of Bengal with Assam, making the eastern province with its centre at Dhaka. He thought that splitting Bengal would weaken and divide the nationalist movement.
After Curzon announced the partition on 19th July 1905, there was widespread political unrest in the province as most people in Bengal saw through the nefarious plan of British and took this partition as an insult to their motherland.
The nationalists realized that partition was effected not just on administrative grounds, but for creating a permanent division between Hindu and Muslim communities by the British colonial power through its policy of divide and rule. In the western region, resistance to the partition was explosive and all-pervasive.
This involved non-violent and violent protests, boycotts, and even an assassination attempt on the governor of the new province of West Bengal. Surendranath Banerjee was one of the most important public leaders who protested against the partition of the Bengal province.
He was at the forefront of the movement and organized protests, petitions, and rallied extensive public support across Bengal and India.
The protest got momentum under the leadership of one of India's greatest poet, Rabindranath Tagore, who declared the day of the partition to be a day of national mourning. No food was cooked in Bengali homes that day.
To strengthen the bond between Bengali Hindus and Muslims, Tagore appealed to Hindus and Muslims to tie rakhis to one another, creating a lifelong bond of protection that no one could break.
বাংলার মাটি বাংলার জল বাংলার বায়ু বাংলার ফল পূর্ণ হোক.
The agitation against the partition of Bengal gave birth to Swadeshi and boycott of British products movement, which marked one of the turning points in the history of Indian nationalism.
The twin weapons of Swadeshi and boycott, adopted by the Bengalis, became a slogan for all Indian nationalists, and they formed the basis of Mahatma Gandhi's non-cooperation, satyagraha and khadi movements. Following the massive protests against partition, Bengal was reunited in 1911 by Viceroy Lord Hardinge.
On 16th October, we are also observing the death anniversary of freedom fighter and politician Ganesh Ghosh. Born on 22nd of June 1900 at Binodpur village in Jessore district of Bengal province, Ghosh was arrested by British authorities in the Maniktala bomb case and was imprisoned for 4 years in 1924.
After his release, he joined the Chittagong Jugantar Party and participated in the Chittagong Arsenal raid along with Surya Sen and other revolutionaries on 18th April 1930. Ghosh was later arrested in Chandan Nagar and in 1932 was sentenced for life and deported to the cellular jail in Andaman.
In 1946, He was released, and after independence, he became a leader of the Communist Party of India. Ganesh Ghosh died on 16th October 1994 at the age of 94. We salute the spirit and love for nation of this great freedom fighter.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow. In Himachal Pradesh, traditional week-long Kulu Dashehra began yesterday with Rath Yatra of Lord Raghunath at Dhalpur Dashehra ground. More than 200 palanquins of deities along with thousands of followers are taking part in the festival. The entire Kulu valley will be echoing with the divine music of drums and trumpets for 7 days, and all the deities will camp in Kulu till the 21st of October. Himachal Pradesh Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar inaugurated the Dashehra festivity by lighting diyas. A huge crowd of devotees, including tourists, thronged Kulu to witness this centuries-old cultural and religious festival. Kulu Dashehra was declared an international festival in 1972.
In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists involved in the recent targeted killings of a civilian and a police officer have been killed in 2 separate encounters with security forces. In the first encounter, Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist Shahid Bashir Sheikh was neutralized in an operation jointly launched by Army, J&K Police and CRPF in the Vaibug area of Pulwama yesterday. The police said the slain terrorist was involved in the recent killings of a civilian and a sub-inspector in Srinagar. In the second operation, 1 terrorist identified as Tanzeel Ahmed was killed at Hamdania colony in Bemina area of Srinagar. He was involved in the killing of a police sub-inspector Arshad Ashraf in Srinagar's Khanyar area on the 12th of September, police said. Arms and ammunition, including 2 AK-47 rifles, have been recovered from the encounter sites. United Nations Security Council has strongly condemned the horrendous terrorist attack against the Shia mosque in Kandahar province of Afghanistan. At least 47 people were killed and 70 others injured in an explosion inside the Shia mosque during Friday prayers yesterday. Terror group Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the attack. In a statement, UN Security Council expressed the deepest sympathy and condolences to the families of the victims, and they wished a speedy and full recovery to those who were injured. Members of the Security Council reaffirmed that terrorism in all its forms and manifestations constitutes one of the most serious threats to the international peace and security. UNSC members also underlined the need to hold perpetrators, organizers, financiers and sponsors of these reprehensible acts of terrorism accountable and bring them to justice.
7-time champions India will take on Nepal in the final of the South Asian Football Federation Championship in Malé, Maldives today. India on Wednesday defeated Maldives 3-1 to book their spot in the summit clash. India remained undefeated in this edition, having earlier played out draws with Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and then beating Nepal. In cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 27 runs to win its 4th IPL title in Dubai last night. Faf du Plessis won the Man of the Match award for smashing a knock of 86 in 59 balls for Chennai. Ruturaj Gaikwad, who scored 32 off 27 deliveries in the final clash, has won the orange cap for scoring highest run with 635 runs from 16 matches in this edition of IPL. The purple cap went to RCB's Harshal Patel, who has registered 32 wickets in 15 games in this IPL season. With this, MS Dhoni-led Chennai lift the IPL trophy for the 4th time, having previously won the tournament in 2010, 2011 and 2018.
Prasar Bharati is phasing out outdated analog DD terrestrial broadcasts. This paves the way for emerging technologies and new content opportunities. Now, the viewers can watch over 150 TV channels free of cost on DD Free Dish, a direct-to-home free-to-air service of Doordarshan. The channels include all DD channels and various private and educational TV channels. For any query, viewers can contact 011-2580-6200 on working days between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And now let us take a look at the weather update for today. The national capital, Delhi, will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was 20 degrees Celsius and the maximum is likely to be 34 degrees Celsius. Mumbai may experience a partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 25 and the maximum may be around 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The city observed a minimum temperature of 26 and the maximum will be around 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai is expected to have thunderstorm with rain. The temperature will vary between 26 and 35 degrees Celsius. Bengaluru, Visakhapatnam and Thiruvananthapuram will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. In Bengaluru, the temperature will hover between 21 and 29 degrees Celsius. The Visakhapatnam observed a minimum temperature of 26 and maximum will be around 33 degrees. And the minimum temperature in Thiruvananthapuram was 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Hyderabad may experience partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was 20 and the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Srinagar will witness partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Jammu will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Leh and Gilgit are expected to have a mainly clear sky. Muzaffarabad will have a partly cloudy sky. Guwahati Imphal will have partly cloudy sky with the possibility of development of thunder and lightning. Shillong, Aizawl, Kohima, Itanagar and Agartala will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And Gangtok will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The temperature will hover between 18 and 24 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. India on track for a self-reliant defence sector, headlines Hindustan Times, quoting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. 7 new defence companies unveiled, writes the paper. The aim is to make India world's biggest military power, says the Prime Minister, writes the Times of India. India, key player at Moscow meet to consider Taliban recognition, reports the Tribune. The Pioneer quotes a recent study to reveal that the Delta variant of SARS-CoV-2 is extremely transmissible and can also infect individuals previously infected by different strains of the virus. WHO reveals that TB deaths are up in the pandemic, reports the Hindu. States must step up capex, says RBI Governor, reports the Business Standard. Quality spending can have a multiplier effect, says the Governor, elaborates the paper. And finally, Jaipur boy secures first position in JEE with record score of 348 over 360, writes the Times of India. The paper shows a photograph of the beaming topper Mridul Agarwal.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicates 7 new defence companies to the nation to make India world's largest military power. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 97 crore 18 lakh mark. Recovery rate improves to 98.07%. India allows foreign tourists on charter flights to enter the country. US to ease travel curbs for fully vaccinated foreigners from November the 8th. 2 terrorists killed in separate encounters with security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. UN Security Council strongly condemns terrorist attack on Shia mosque in Kandahar province of Afghanistan. Islamic State claims responsibility. Week-long Kulu Dashara begins in Himachal Pradesh with Rath Yatra of Lord Raghunath. 7-time champions India to take on Nepal in final of SAF Football Championship in Male today. And in cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 27 runs to win its 4th IPL title. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.